Welcome to Today I Learned a Programming Thing, a series where I show small programming tricks that I've learned that make a big difference. Today I learned just how useful scripting languages can be. Bad insomnia, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. One thing that is really nice about being a programmer is that you can use scripting languages to make your own tools. Part of the reason why that's nice is because there are very specific tasks that you will want to automate that are too nuanced for anyone else in the universe to decide, hey, I'm going to make a program to do this one specific task. Now I'm doing this, in this example, I'm using Bash because it's there. This is something that could be done just as easily in Python or Ruby, but there it is. I just did it in Bash because I like to be able to call SFTP. I like to be able to call grep using the Perl engine and things like that. So this is an example of a specific task that I want to automate, but nobody else in the world is going to make this for me because it's too specific. It's too unique to my situation. So I have a resume that I put on my own website, my personal website, but I don't want to. Put my personal information on there. I don't want to put my address and my phone number on my website because I don't want people showing up at my house or calling me or sending me packages or whatever. I don't want that to happen. I once registered a website and forgot to use a proxy so that my personal information was on Whois, and for the next week I had web developers calling me up all day long asking if they wanted to develop my website. I am a web developer. I don't need you to develop my website for me. Point being that I learned my lesson and decided I don't want to put my phone number and my address publicly viewable. I didn't even mean to do it the first time. So for my resume, I've got two versions. I've got the public version and the private version. So the private version is the one that I give to friends, potential employers. For the record, I'm not looking for a job right now, and possible clients sometimes, because clients are going to need to be able to call me. So, but the public version, I put on my website that has a message that says address and phone numbers redacted for the public version. If I wanted to do this using a word processor like MS Word or Libre, I started to say OpenOffice, LibreOffice word processor, I don't remember what that's called, Write, I think, LibreOffice Write, then I would have to I'd have to manually do it every time. I'd have to manually make a new version for the public, and manually make a new version for the private, and then I'd have to upload it either SFTP or going through my WordPress to update it, and make sure I don't actually put the private one on the website. What I decided to do was automate the whole process, so what would take 10 minutes now takes just a few seconds. Whenever I want to update my resume, I just go ahead and make the change and have a couple scripts, one that compiles the two versions of the resume and another version and another script that uploads the public ones to my server. I say ones because let's go ahead and go over to my website. You can see I've got the PDF version and I've got the HTML version. So on my website I've got links to both. So now let's say I want to go ahead and make a change. So let's go ahead and move this down. So I want to add to my programming languages, and I'll say COBOL. Want sat next to a guy that talks my ear off about it. I'll go ahead and turn on wrap. This is not going to be on my resume for very long because you don't want that on your resume. That'd be bad. So this is using a markup language called LaTeX. I learned about how to use LaTeX quite a bit because it's used in math, and I I have a master's in math, so I spend a lot of time with LaTeX, and it turns out just to be super nice to have a markup language for something like this. Although HTML, in most purposes these days, I use HTML, but this is an example where LaTeX fit better. So over here I've got the raw document for LaTeX. Over here I've got, you can see a couple different versions. You can see I've got the there's a docx, but that's old, obviously. And I've got the PDF, I've got the HTML, and I've got the public PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and open it just to show you. This is a simple script. It's kind of sloppy, but the point is to show how useful this could be for something like this. It's just a simple bash script to compile both the resume, both of the versions of the resume. So what this does is, for the private version, it's just going to take out my the comments in front of private. I'm just going to do it down here too, but it's going to leave the comment for the public because it doesn't. I don't want it to compile the public for that version of the resume. And for the public, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to uncomment the public. So that's really all it does. It's very simple. So now I'm going to go ahead and run it. And it takes just a little while just because it's doing some, faster than I thought. So now I can see, so resume.pdf, so this is the private version. And you can see that it compiled and added COBOL. Wants that next to a guy I talked my ear off about it. And I can do COBOL, and this is the public version. So that one simple step compiled both versions, so I don't have to manually go through and change it every single time. That would be a big pain. And I've got another script. I'm not going to show it because it doesn't have any passwords in it, but just for the sake of security, I'm not going to actually show the contents. But all it does is it uses an SFTP script to upload it to my website. So I'm going to go ahead and do bash update website. Okay, so upload it to my website. So now we can see, I'm going to refresh this, and we see it updated it. Refresh this, you see it updated it. So I've got the public version, I've got the private version. I can go ahead and compile them both with one command. It's very simple, very easy. The point that I'm making is just that scripting languages can be very, very useful. This isn't just a Linux thing. I'm using Bash here, but you could do it with Python, you can do it with Ruby, you could do it with VB script, you could do it with PowerShell. You could probably do it with a DOS prompt, but I sure wouldn't want to. One thing that I wanted to interject is that these scripts are not just something that I use once in a rare while. These actually can become extremely useful in many, many cases. So I actually use them a lot. So for example, I have a script that uses SFTP to copy some Vim customization files, like my vimrc and some custom functions and things like that, onto the server for work. And then after that, it uses SSH to use Perl to remove some files that are not really necessary, or maybe it removes references to files that are not really necessary. So it just makes things a little bit that way I don't have to do that manually every single time. And another script that I have makes a backup copy of, so it's a backup that is very, very specific. It's not the usual backup that I have for most of my files. It's backup for specific files that just uses SFTP to copy them from my laptop to my desktop, and that's actually fully automated, so I don't even have to enter the password. It uses SSH from my laptop to my desktop every night at 8 o'clock using crontab. And if you've seen my videos on using a VPN, you'll see an example of scripts. In this case, these are pretty long scripts that are used to automate certain tasks. Basically, all those things did was they took the instructions from DigitalOcean and automated everything in there. So it's just kind of another example of how scripts can make your life a whole lot easier. In that case, those scripts were not just for me, although I do use them whenever I need to make a new VPN. Those scripts were ones that I shared for people that would make life easier for them. That's just a couple of examples that are just off the top of my head. A lot of these scripts just make life a whole lot easier. And I've got scripts for databases, I've got scripts for all kinds of things. So the point that I'm making is that being able to make these scripts to automate tasks that you do regularly can make a big difference in your workflow. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this video, then please, by all means, like, comment, and or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, or upvote, comment, and follow if you're watching this on VidMe, and share with your friends on social media or IRL. My cat's doing weird stuff. Stop it!